Yeah, I bought another guitar, so sue me. So just a couple of days ago, I said to myself, no way, that's it. I don't want any more guitars with Floyd Roses in them. They're a hassle, and that's it. I'm not ordering anymore. Plain and simple. End of discussion. So there I was ordering this guitar on Thomann because I basically came across this Fusion-III, and it immediately spoke to me. Everything went out the window. What can you do, guys? When you're gear addicted, you make crazy decisions. But in a way, I'm glad I actually ordered this guitar because it's perhaps one of the nicest guitars from Thomann, Harley Benton, that I've played. And I lost track now, maybe 3 or 4 different ones. I bought 3 or 4 different ones. By far, the Fusion-III, this one, is the best playing guitar in my opinion, feeling guitar, and the guitar with the best looks. So today we're going to go over this guitar in quite a bit of detail because I want you to see why I actually fell in love with this guitar. First of all, the looks. I mean, this guitar looks like a guitar that can easily sell for 2,000 bucks. Has a beautiful top, wonderful features. I was blown away by the, just the woods and the finish on this guitar. It's hard to believe that this guitar is not like, 2,000 bucks. It can easily compete with guitars in the $2,000 price range, in my opinion. Sometimes guitars can't. Sometimes they look really cool, but when you actually play them, you see why they're considered budget guitars. This guitar is way below that price and a great value. So, the color. Look at this color. Beautiful burst. It's got a flame maple veneer on it. So this is not a solid top, it is a veneer, but it's a nice deep flame. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. Wonderful. The back on the guitar is plain black, but there are some nice details there too that I'll get to in a minute. It's got a beautiful Floyd Rose. This is a 1000 series Floyd Rose, by the way, for those of you that are wondering, because there's quite a bit of variation between the top of the line Floyd Roses and the OEM versions that you find on a lot of budget guitars. The 1000 series is kind of somewhere in the middle. And I actually played this guitar yesterday in a live scenario. And I was actually very, very pleased by how well it stayed in tune. Most of the time I have issues with Floyd Rose guitars. There's always, you know, a bit of back and forth, especially on a guitar with new strings that haven't been necessarily stretched out. It did really, really well. So I was very pleased. So beyond the Floyd, it has Roswell pickups that have AlNiCo-5 magnets in them. These pickups sound really good. There's a nice range of tone between the bridge and the neck pickup, and the in-between can give you some really nice mellow sounds, but they all sound nice and usable, which is sometimes rare. If we jump to the electronics, so yes, it's a three-way switch, nothing too crazy. It's got the volume, it's got the tone knob, but it also has the coil split for those of you that want to get more of a traditional Strat sound out of it, Telecaster sound. It's not going to be exactly like that, because I always find that splitting a humbucker always has limitations, but it does a respectable job and gives you more tones at your fingertips. Also, I forgot to mention, the Floyd is set so it has a recess here so you can dive bomb as well as do pull-ups for those really cool rock heavy metal squeals that you like to do. It does do the warbles if you do that, and I'll show you that in a second. And I really like the way they actually left the perimeter of the guitar. Instead of putting a plastic trim, they just left the wood exposed. So my Sir guitar actually has the same feature, and I couldn't get over how much it actually does look like a Sir guitar. If I just move the headstock out of the way here, you'll be hard-pressed to tell me that it's not one of these more expensive guitars. So, really impressed by it so far. The neck, I think, is what sold me. And I always say that the neck is the money end of the guitar. And this is where most of the attention should take place from the manufacturers. Because if you don't get along with the neck, you're not going to like playing the guitar. This is a medium C neck. It is made of Canadian maple, roasted Canadian maple. Beautiful neck. Look how dark it is. So when you roast maple, you can actually choose how dark you want it to be. There could be quite a variation in the coloring. It's almost like roasting coffee. You can have a deep roast or, you know, a moderate roast. This one is quite dark. You can see from the front and the back, which is really nice. The C-shaped neck is perfect. It's not thin. It's not chunky. It's right there somewhere in the middle and in the sweet spot that I love so much. They went beyond the beautiful roasting features and also installed stainless steel frets, 24 beautiful frets, well put in, no issues in terms of fret sprout or any kind of rough edges. Feels really, really natural under your fingertips. I love stainless steel frets because they last longer and they don't corrode and they don't get those divots as easily as you would get on some other, you know, frets that are kind of made of different types of inferior metal. The stainless steel is a step above. Clay dots, I would have liked to have seen lumen lays. That would be really cool. Basically compete with what you're getting with the Charvels. And when I looked at this guitar, it kind of reminded me of a nice Charvel or a nice Sir guitar. Even one of the, you know, the new fancy Ibanez guitars that are selling for quite a bit more money. So it's hard to believe that they're putting out this kind of quality for this kind of money. Let's look at the back. So the heel on this guitar does not have a heel plate like a Strat, you know, a metal heel plate. It actually just has the screws. But the heel is carved and curved in to make it more comfortable. You do have the accessory covers here for the back If you want to get to the springs or the electronics, everything in the back is black. You do have the tummy tuck here, and you do have the armrest here. So standard features. They kept it subdued, but really nice. So the headstock here is still roasted maple, but they decided to actually coat it with some poly, which makes it look a little darker, a little shinier. I really don't feel they needed to do that. You know, as a matter of fact, I think I would have preferred if it was just left alone. I think it would look really cool. Either way, they did that for whatever reason. Maybe it's, you know, they had to apply the decal and it would facilitate that. I really don't know. Some of you might like it. Some of you might prefer without. I'm one that prefers without, but I could live with it. It still looks nice. Well done. If we look at the tuners on this guitar, they come with Grover tuners. You know, right away, these tuners are a step above the OEM type generic tuners you get on budget guitars. So they're not skimping on the hardware. They're giving you good quality tuners, a good quality Floyd Rose here. You know, the split coils, humbuckers with AlNiCo-5s, which just happen to be my favorite type of magnet. So you get a really nice variety of tones. And it just makes a well-rounded rock machine. And of course, you know, you don't really know till you play it. And I had the opportunity to play it. And out of the box, there wasn't anything that I needed to adjust on this. The height of the strings were just perfect. No buzzing, no issues with the neck at all. And it sounded really, really great for all kinds of different music. So the body on this guitar is made from a species of wood called Nyato, which is a species that grows in Indonesia. I don't really know what the property is of this type of wood. I'm not a wood expert, but feel free to Google it and do some research and, you know, figure out what it is. Ultimately, what we really want to know is how much does the guitar weigh? So the guitar weighs 7.88 pounds, which is quite respectable for a guitar that has a Floyd on it. The Floyd itself is quite a bit of weight. For those of you that are wondering, the radius on this neck is a 12-inch radius and the nut width is 42 millimeters. The guitar comes standard with 10 gauge strings. I prefer 9s, but the 10s weren't bad right out of the box. Eventually, I'll probably just put 9s on it. This guitar is easily the best Harley Benton that I've had the pleasure to play. Definitely scratched my itch for any Charvels, any Ibanez guitars, any Suhr guitars at a very, very respectable price point. It's going to be hard for you to find a better deal for a guitar with these kind of features, this kind of look in this price range. Honestly, I have no negatives to say about this guitar. Except maybe the lumen lace. It would have been really nice. It would have been like a little tweak above if they would have just considered doing that. But hey, I'm super happy with the guitar as is. If you're into this type of guitar and you're looking for a really solid HH configuration with a Floyd, check them out. Fusion-3s. You can't go wrong. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Addicted to Gear. I hope you enjoyed the content today and the review on this Harley Benton guitar. If you're into guitars and gear, you want to stay tuned and perhaps consider subscribing because there's going to be more stuff coming your way.